This program airs statewide on California Public Television and is a California's Gold classic.
Hi, I'm Huell, and this is the world-famous Hollywood Bowl. Now, this bowl, tucked here in the hills of Hollywood, has been the summer home for the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra since 1922. These days, it's also the home for the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. In fact, they're down there rehearsing right now. Now, this bowl is very well known, and it's become part of the musical life of Southern California. But it's only one of many outdoor stages and venues all over our state. And in this particular adventure, we're going to visit some of those stages, both of which are not only historic, but have some neat things going on them. So if you're ready for this adventure, as always, you're invited to come on along with us. We call this one On Stage because that's exactly where we're going to be, outdoors and on stage, as we continue our search together for California's gold.
It's one of the most picturesque communities in Southern California. I mean, when you think of what a beach town is supposed to look like, Laguna Beach is it. And when you drive through town on Highway 1, it's a treat, 'cause you're traveling right beside the beach and the ocean. Now, Laguna has always been known as sort of an artist colony from the very early days. In fact, years ago, back in the early 1900s, locals were putting on all sorts of pageants and plays, parades and festivals, taking advantage of the fact that they had a large arts community. And one of those pageants started back in 1933 in what used to be an undeveloped canyon. Over the years, several different and ever larger stages were built for the pageant, and today it's still going strong. In fact, it's one of the best-known and most popular pageants in the country, drawing over 140,000 people during its 7-week summer run. It's called the Pageant of the Masters, and we were invited to attend one of the performances. Now, we were met at the gate and given a tour through the grounds, which themselves were filled with all kinds of interesting art, much of it by local artists. Then we were taken to the 2,600-seat outside amphitheater and given some background on what I promise you has to be one of the most fascinating and truly unique pageants you'll ever see.
Laguna began being very famous as an art colony, and there were many artists who weren't famous at the time who now are very famous, and their paintings are being sold for very high prices these days. Anyway, these artists got together and they had a little art festival down by the beach in a lovely
when was
little spot. This began in 1932. Now, maybe the paintings weren't selling very well, so they decided what they would do is they'd have some little side attractions, some little fair or festival to attract more people to buy their artwork. And one of the crazy ideas they came up with was this Pageant of the Masters idea, where they recreate works of art with real people.
Now, this had a name to it, didn't it?
It originally was called the Spirit of the Masters Pageant.
No, but I mean the whole idea of recreating this tableau thing. Didn't it go back to Europe?
It goes back to France in the 18th century, and then it was called tableaux vivants, which is living tableau. And this was a very popular party game or a pastime among the aristocratic people of that time.
Now, was this a hit from the beginning?
Well, it's an event that started really small, and it started with maybe about 10 people, and it was led by Roy Ropp. He kind of pulled everybody together and said, look, if we're going to make a show of this, we have to be more professional, and we have to put a lot more effort and time into it, and that's what they did, and gradually the show grew and grew to what you see here today.
Because I have seen a picture of, I think maybe it was the very first show back in 1932. It was just two people holding an empty frame with a lady standing in the middle of the frame
kind of posing there.
Yes, all the paintings they did were very small. They couldn't handle the big pieces that we do today.
I got you. Now, explain to me how all this works. What are we going to see tonight when we look at the stage?
Well, you're going to see a whole series of posters, sculptures, paintings. You'll see paintings by Monet and Da Vinci and painters you know, but you'll also see some popular art and some pieces that will surprise you. We're also doing some porcelain tonight.
But they're not really paintings.
They're backgrounds, they're sets, they're painted, yes, but there will be live people standing in place of the painted ones.
Yeah, because so far we have not actually seen what this is going to look like. This is all just kind of preliminary building up to what this pageant of the masters is all about.
It's hard to describe it as an entertainment, but we do have a live narrator. We have a full live orchestra in the orchestra pit down there in front of the stage. And of course we add to it this wonderful ambience of this outdoor amphitheater.
Well, it is 7:15. The show starts at
8:30.
Because it has to be dark.
Oh yes.
That's part of it,
yes,
right?
we need the darkness for the lighting effects.
Right. So everybody is backstage now getting into their outfits, right?
Yes, they're all getting makeup on. That takes a while.
Can we go back and visit with them?
By all means,
because
let's do it.
that would be kind of interesting to see how that plays before the show actually starts.
Okay.
Oh boy, there's a lot of activity back here. Oh gosh.
Back here.
Oh boy. Look at this.
Yeah. This is all water-based makeup made specially for the pageant.
Look at this little, I was going to say, look at this little boy over here. Hello. Boy, you are really, what is he going to be?
Well, what are you going to be, Ben? You tell him.
I'm in the Chinese Emperor, the last one.
Here we go. I don't know if this will be photographed.
Oh,
Right here.
You're going to be right in the bottom,
Yeah, number
right over there. Oh, boy. Is this a pretty good role for you?
Yes.
He's very
Now, why do you say yes with such a big grin?
I like it very much.
Tell him how many years you've been doing this.
This is my 3rd year doing this.
You're third? How old are you?
8.
So you started here when you were 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going to stick with it?
I might do it for a couple more years. Probably until I've done it about 7 more years.
Wow. So they really, now have you seen a lot of them start off young like this and stay with it a long time?
Yeah, really, I have quite a bit. Like that one over there now, he's about 4. And he's just getting started, so he'll be here about 8 years.
Now, how long have you been putting on makeup
About
for these?
6, 7 years.
Well, you're a newcomer.
Oh, absolutely. They're more veteran than I.
What is the appeal of this?
Oh, it's thrilling, kind of, because when you see them like this, they don't mean a lot until you see them on stage. And if you haven't seen this show, it's not describable in words. You have to see it to believe it.
Well, we're going to see it tonight.
Oh, I hope so.
And we're going to be looking for you.
My sister's in it. My
Really?
mom's right over
Where's
there.
your sister?
Right here?
You're in it?
Yep.
Wow, now who do you play?
I am Le Bouquet.
Well, shouldn't you be getting made up now?
I'm getting to about half hour.
Oh, okay.
I help out down here.
And where's your mom?
My mom is right down there and
At the very end?
in the purple shirt right here. There
Oh,
you go.
gosh. I just finished talking to your 2 daughters.
I know.
This is really
They were raised in the pageant. Jennifer was like 7.
What do you
when she
mean
first
raised
started.
in the
Well,
pageant?
I mean, we're down here every summer partaking in the fun. I mean, you make friends, lifetime friends.
Yeah.
It's really a neat experience.
Have you ever been in it?
My first year, I was in one of the Wedgwoods, which was 12 dancing girls, way up on above this actual stage in the caged area. So that was an experience. I prefer down here.
Well, you're doing a good job with makeup. I'll let you go
Right.
back.
Okay, thanks.
The whole family's in it. Oh, gosh. Look at you. You've really done a job on her.
Thank you. Wait till she's finished.
Wow.
She'll look just like that.
Oh, well, let's put it up here so we can... I gotcha. Well, she looks pretty much like that right now.
Oh, we have a long way to go.
It's a wonderful way to spend a summer. I think that my daughters and I have gained an appreciation of art we never would have had before. My youngest loves Rockwell and collects him. I found I like impressionistic art, and my older daughter likes modern art. So we would never have discovered that if it hadn't been for the pageant. And every year we learn something new. We learn costuming, we learn lighting, we learn makeup, and we learn headdress. I wouldn't get that in my job, and that's kind of special, and I think everybody here gets something out of it every night.
Now we're backstage with Butch Huell, who is the
technical director.
Now what does that mean?
It means a lot of things, but during the summer it means that I run the stage crew around and make sure everything's running well on stage.
Now we're getting them loaded up. Explain how this happens.
Oh, well, normally they come up the stairs and the stage crew will pick them up the top of the stairs and bring them over here and carefully get them in and safety belt them in.
So they are belted in here. How does that work? Can we get a look at it?
Sure. It's a little clip, just like a dog leash, and they have an eye that it hooks
Well, there's the hook right there.
Yeah, we just want to make sure everybody's safe. They're moved around on these castered platforms.
So can we put them up there and see
I'm
what that's
lift
going
him right
to...
up. Are you ready? Okay, here we go.
Oh, and then you just hook him right on.
Right in. This helps him hold his hand. You could drop this.
And then he puts his hand out here. Now you don't blink, do you?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you're allowed to blink
just
and
a
allowed
little,
to breathe.
just a little blink though.
Yeah.
Can you give us a nice pose, just like? Oh yeah. Oh, look at that.
He's really good. He's one of our best.
And you just stand just like that.
Yeah.
Let's see what you look like. Now you're not supposed to smile. Okay, here comes the wreath. That is amazing.
It was indeed an amazing sight. And after being backstage and getting an idea of how the pageant works, it was time to join the audience out front for a truly unbelievable evening of tableau art, living pictures. There it was, on stage, a replica of a Charles X clock. Now look closely and remember the 4 female figures adorning the clock are real. And there was more, 23 different tableaus in all, each lasting only 90 seconds. Paintings like this one by Monet. Sculpture by Remington. And here's the porcelain entitled The Chinese Emperor with the children we met earlier. There were replicas of colorful posters, statues, an Art Nouveau lighting fixture, an ancient Scythian comb, each tableau totally captivating the audience.
Something that you can't even put into words.
We'll try.
You try to tell them it's really people up there. They really put themselves in the costumes and the painting and everything, but you can't. It's real difficult to try to explain it.
I think what impresses me the most is the fact that they're real people, and you don't really see them move. You realize that this art is actually coming to life, and that's the whole point of the entire.
We might volunteer for next year.
Yeah. Do you think those early Laguna citizens who started fooling around with this idea back in the early 1930s had any idea it would grow to this and become this well-known and well-loved?
I really don't think they had any idea, because now we're seating 2,600 people in the bowl every night for 52 performances. And in the old days, they would go around town, they'd make little parades, they'd say, come on, come see our little pageant. And it really was just a little backyard event. And you can see what it's become. Yeah.
Something very special.
Yes, it's special to all of us. Thank you.
To visit our next outdoor stage, we went south to San Diego and headed straight for Balboa Park, which is located right near the center of the city. Now, Balboa Park has a rich history, including the fact that back in 1915, it was the site of San Diego's Panama, California Exposition, a 2-year fair that celebrated the completion of the Panama Canal and put the emerging city of San Diego on the map. Now, the exposition attracted lots of people. It was a big deal. And from that time on, the good citizens of San Diego definitely have had an ongoing love affair with the park. In fact, many of those original buildings built for the exposition are still standing. The 1,100-acre park is the home for the San Diego Zoo, the Old Globe Theater, and 10 different museums. It's also the home of a totally unique musical instrument that's located outdoors on a magnificent stage.
We're standing in the shade because it's about 110 today.
Yes.
But let's stand out here for just a minute because this is what we have come to see. Tell us a little bit about what's, I guess, right behind that metal front there in the building.
Well, it's the only installation of its kind in the entire world, the famous Spreckels Organ. It's now known worldwide because we've been publicizing it.
Now, what's the history of the Spreckels Organ?
Some of the city leaders way back in 1914 decided they wanted to do something to celebrate the completion of the Panama Canal and also promote San Diego. So they decided to have this exposition, the Panama, California Exposition. John D. and Adolph Spreckels, they were brothers, millionaires, owned most of the city.
The sugar people, weren't they?
Yes, they were, and they wanted to build this in a different place, in a grove of trees. Well, the city fathers convinced them if they'd build it here, they could extend their streetcar line down here. So they decided to do that. It's faced this way because of the pipes are never in the sun and all kinds of different reasons that they figured out. I think they were amazing in their day. But this was given to the people of the city of San Diego and the entire world for their free use. So that's why all of our concerts here are presented free.
Now, is this the original building as it looked in 1914, 1915 when it was built?
Yes, it looked like this. It came into disrepair in the late 70s, and the Committee of 100 got a lot of people together and a lot of money in the city in on it, and they restored it, and they also added a new console at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we've added a $50,000 bombard to the organ and a $23,000 state-of-the-art memory system.
So you all are working very hard to keep it as wonderful as it was when it first opened up back in 1915.
Absolutely.
Now, have the people of San Diego loved this organ since the very start?
Oh, they've loved it. They used to just fill this pavilion day after day at that exposition, and also in the earlier years. Now, some of our programs, we have 10 summer Monday evening programs on our International Organ Festival. Our movie night on August 1st, we had 3,500 to 4,000 people here. They were even on the grass across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And we average at least 2,000 for those every Monday night. Then on our Sunday concerts, many times it's just filled here, and people are sitting down on the bricks. We're just very happy about our response.
this is an honest-to-goodness San Diego tradition.
Yes, and it's a treasure. It's a real treasure for San Diego.
Was there ever a time when it looked like it might not survive?
Well, that's when it came into disrepair, and some of our city fathers wanted to put the pipes in storage and tear down the pavilion and make a parking lot.
No.
Well, the people just rose up, and formed the Committee of 100, and they saved it. Then the city re-landscaped, put in the benches, and now we have this beautiful area.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness is right.
Well, the door is finally going up, and there's somebody back here. Hello?
Hi.
Can you come out?
Sure, sure.
I'm Huell.
Lyle Blackinton. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now, what is your position here?
I'm the organ curator.
Now, what does that mean? What does the organ curator do?
Well, I take care of the organ, take care of it mechanically and tune it, keep it in tune, and supervise its use and so forth.
Now, is this isn't the original Spreckels organ, is it?
Well, all the pipe work from the original organ is upstairs. This happens to be the third console that it's had, but all the original pipe work from 1915 is still in the instrument up above.
Really?
That's right.
Now, I had heard that this was the last remaining setup like this anywhere in the world.
That's true, and it has to be one of the most unique organ installations in the world. For where else can you sit in the sun and get a tan by listen to great organ music at the same time?
Yeah. Well, now we're beginning to see a little bit of the beauty of the organ revealing itself up here. For an organ lover, and I must admit I don't really know that much about these wonderful old pipe organs, but if they were to come and see this and hear this, would they be in heaven?
I would think so, yes. And as I say, it's certainly one of the most unique organs in the environment that it's in.
How hard is it to take care of?
Not a great deal different than indoor instruments. It does have some unique problems. One thing we're bothered with is pollen during the spring when the eucalyptus trees bloom. Some of the pollen tends to get into the reeds, and sometimes insects, moths, and so forth. But other than that, it gets basically the same care that an indoor instrument would get.
Well, now, how are the old pipes holding up? Boy, those are buttes up there, aren't they?
Yes, it's doing well. And of course, what you see here is just a small part of the organ. This is really the facade of the organ, and only 16 of the pipes that you see here actually speak. And so the rest of the 4,400 pipes in this organ are back behind this gold facade.
Back behind here?
Yes.
Could we see that?
Yes, yes, we can go upstairs and take a peek in the chambers and see the actual tone-producing portions of the organ.
In the chambers?
Yes. This is the second floor. All the second floor is dedicated to the organ loft.
Oh, wow.
We're going into the chamber here. All of this mechanism you see is part of the organ. And we'll
wow, this is huge.
You'll see some of the percussions of the organ, the snare drum here, chimes, crash cymbal.
Uh-oh.
Tap cymbal, you got it, didn't you? Now, one thing's unique here is that we can actually go through an airlock into the air chest to see the mechanism that makes the organ play. I'm going to push. You hear a swish of air. We'll disappear inside.
We're going inside here.
And we'll have to close the door behind us.
Look at this, Louis. We're closing the door behind us.
Be another swish of air. We're in the airlock now. You open the door and we're stepping into the pressure that actually plays the organ.
Oh, wow.
No, we're actually in the air supply that plays the organ, and as we look overhead,
there's the organ.
All these aluminum discs up above are pipe valves. Above every one of those aluminum discs is a pipe. So the air in this room is being forced out into the pipes. And when the organ's being played, the organist is controlling which valves open and close and let air go up into the respective pipes.
So the organist has shown up since we left. He's down there practicing now?
Doing a little practicing right now, that's right.
And he's practicing while we're in the organ.
That's right. You can hear the mechanical sounds of the valves, and above you see little bellows and so forth. The air pressure collapses them, triggers the valves, and then lets the air go into the pipes. Everything works on air. We even have some mechanical portions here. These operate the expression shutters outside, and they open and close in varying degrees to control the volume of the organ.
They look like bellows.
Right. You find many bellows within an organ of different sizes that are used to control things.
Now, is this all original?
Yes. Yes, all this dates back to 1915.
And I thought it was hot outside.
This is the pressure cooker in here.
It's really hot in here.
The compressed air raises the temperature probably 10 degrees from...
It's got to be 110 in here right now.
Feels like it, doesn't it?
You mind if we go outside and actually meet the organist? We've certainly been listening to him enough. Okay, we have now moved back down on stage, and Lyle is moving the organ out, and I guess You're the fellow who was entertaining us while we were up there in the organ.
I'm surprised you can still hear.
Barely.
Barely, yes.
You are the official civic organist, and that is a rather unique position for a city to have, isn't
That's
it?
exactly right. I don't know any other city in the country that has a position quite like this. It's a wonderful honor to be the civic organist of San Diego.
How many civic organists have there been? Did it start in 1914?
Well, yes, New Year's Eve leading into 1915. Humphrey Stewart was the first, and I am the sixth in the line of succession in nearly 80 years.
Was the Spreckels organ popular from the very start?
Yes, at the opening of the organ, which took place on New Year's Eve, leading into 1915, between 30 and 50,000 people, depending on who you read, were here for the opening. We have pictures of early concerts when not only was this area filled and halfway back to the Art Museum, but back then people were even allowed to stand up on the colonnades and so on. So the place was packed.
So was it really unusual from the get-go that this organ was out here?
Well, the funny thing is, this was John D. Spreckels' idea, and most of the organ builders at the time thought he was absolutely crazy, that it could never be done, that it would never stay in tune, it was totally unsuccessful. So the builder, Austin, from Hartford, Connecticut, was the only one that was willing even to bid on the project. That's how unusual it was.
Really?
That's exactly right.
Just because it was...
Of outdoors. You know, weather and climate has such an effect on an organ that, you know, any other place in the country, it probably would never last.
Do you think Mr. Spreckels would be proud that his organ is still, you know, that this thing is still...
I'd like to think he would be, yes. I do. He was a great believer in great music and a great believer in the, well, just giving to everybody. The words, I don't know whether you got a picture of the plaque over there, that's for all the people of San Diego and the people of all the world. And to me, that's the great privilege, is that every Sunday of the year, week after week after week, anybody can come, rich or poor, whether they're lame and on wheelchairs or whether they're athletes and come jogging in. They can come and hear a wonderful concert. And that's his dream, and we're trying to fulfill it. It was a big one. How about America the Beautiful?
That's great. Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed this adventure. If you'd like to see it again or share it with your family or friends, all you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.